Lovely. So what we'll do now is we'll do all of you together, and it will be like a symphony, or it will just be mental. So remember, you've got a long one, so it's like Hazel Hayes, and then pineapple, and then oh look at me. So ready? 1, 2, 3. That was brilliant. Give yourselves a little clap. That was really good. Normally we have a different section for here, and it's much shorter, so that just sounds brilliant. I'm going to keep that in for at least another 3 shows. This is the last show. But we'll be doing another one, so do buy tickets to that, please. Let's buy more things. Great, so what we're going to do now is have a little quiz to start things off, because who doesn't like a quiz? Don't anyone say woo. You came from New Zealand and you don't like a quiz? You can get out as well. So, this gets quite a lot of messages from me. Sometimes he wants them, sometimes he doesn't. But I like to send quite a few, but there's a limit where you should just stop. And this story is about a time that I didn't. So it was a couple of weeks ago, and I was at a premiere. Did anybody stalk me closely enough on Instagram to see when I went to the San Andreas premiere? I was wearing a blue dress, and I was like, oh, look at my leg. She was like, yes, yeah, oh yeah, I love that picture. Yeah. She's like, oh, don't tell everyone it's my idea. It's all right. They're not waterproof those, so just don't look. Anyway, and I was sat in the theatre. Oh, Dad's on his phone. Dad, I can see you on your phone. The screen's lit up. Jeez. Anyway, Tina's like, come on, Steve, we're at the theatre. My dad texting me. Good. So, I was at this, I was in a cinema, and suddenly I felt this like huge thing in my mouth, and I was like, a pain. There's a huge pain in my mouth. It's a huge pain. It's a huge, terrible pain. A terrible pain in my mouth. My dad's there, guys. Come on. And I was like, ooh, that's a toothache. That'll go. That's not true. If you get a toothache, that's not going to go. Go to the dentist, not like me. But I was like, ooh, that hurts. So I started watching the film. I was like, I could probably make it to the end. I didn't. I had to leave halfway through. People saw. I was like, oh, it's not because I think it's a rubbish film. Has anyone actually seen San Andreas? Great film. That did well at the box office, didn't it? Crikey. So I watched the film, some of it. Basically, oh, the world's going to end, who will survive? Only the main characters and the love interest. Oh, spoilers, ruined it. So went to get some tablets, and the next day the toothache kind of died away, and that was a Friday. And I was like, oh, I'll probably be all right. Got to Friday night, bank holiday weekend, so no dentists are open then. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, I want to rip off my jaw. It was searing agony. So I thought, I'll just take a painkiller. So I took 2, just how he meant to take, just the 2, and the pain didn't go away. So I thought, Zoe could have 2 painkillers, and she's half the size of me. So I could probably have 4. So I took another 2, and fell asleep for a while. and then I was like, woke up after about an hour, and the pain was back, and I thought, I think someone once told me you can mix ibuprofen with paracetamol. I'll have a couple of those. Had a couple of those, and I was like, well, Zoe could have 2, but I'm twice the size. I'll have 4. So by this point, I've taken 8 tablets in 2 hours. Serious, like not a joke. Please don't actually ever do that, because I think you could probably die. It's called an overdose. Don't laugh at overdoses. Jesus. What's wrong with you? So don't actually do this, but the story's going to get worse, so don't do. All the parents are like, oh my God, please stop, she's impressionable, she's only 12. She's like, ha 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 ha, those 12-year-olds. Well, you're weird too, you like it. So, I had 8, and then fell asleep again, and then I woke up, I was like, oh! So then I was like, okay, so I've had the Panadol, I've had the ibuprofen, maybe some Anadin. I just had a concoction throughout the night. So the more I was taking, the more I wasn't thinking straight, and I was alone as well, forever alone. Like Matt used to dish out the paracetamols and stuff, and I was like, with all the drugs, the paracetamols. And then I woke up the next morning and I had to go to BeautyCon. Did anyone go to that? Just the three of you. Good event. Richard Mercer's like, oh, everything. So I really wanted to go to it, and it was in London. I was like, I only live like an hour away from here. I was like, what I'll do is I'll get dressed, and you know that thing where if you're in pain or you've got like a headache or something, and then you go to something and you're distracted by all your friends, so you're like, oh, I'll forget the pain, I'll forget the searing agony, I'll just stop thinking about it. So I got dressed and I started to get a bit of a tummy ache. I was like, oh, I wonder what that is. All the drugs is what it was. And I was like, best thing to do is not to have anything to eat or drink. That'll make me feel lots better. So I got on the train, and the first sort of thing that I thought, oh, that's not right, is when I couldn't work out the time. I was like, what does this mean? Something near the 9 or something. Oh, I don't understand. I was like, I know the way, I don't need time to get there. And then when I was in the station, I started to think panicky thoughts, like, first one, standard, oh, what if I don't make the train? Standard panicked thought to think in a train station. But then I started to think, what if next time I'm on a flight, the flight goes missing and it crashes on an island like you're lost and no one can ever find me, and my dad spends the rest of his life wondering where his favourite daughter ever went. It's terrible, and then everyone will forget me and my friends won't remember me anymore, and all that will be left are my rubbish videos on my YouTube channel and a couple of lookbooks that are half decent. And I got very, very distressed, so I had to ring my dad. I was like, Dad, I'm very, very stressed out, and he was like, you'll be fine. I'm so wise, you'll be fine. Got on the train, and that's when things started to go wrong. By the way, just to add to this, I've got a bit of a tummy ache, and my face, searing agony. Just to put this in perspective, Mum's in here. Remember childbirth? They're like, oh, don't remind me, I still can't go on trampolines properly. Mum's like, oh, I can't, it's terrible, 2 jumps and I'm done. Oh, that's awful, isn't it? It was similar to childbirth, that's how much pain it was. Not the actual birth, just the labour. I'm not going to go too far, I don't want to be dramatic. So I was on the train and I was like, oh, my face, my tummy, and then I started to sweat. Now, if you know me well, actually probably not, I'm not a sweaty person. Like if you were to come here, don't, but if you were to come here now and like touch my underarm, it'd be sort of weird, but also be dry as a bone in the Sahara on a summer's day. Like I just don't sweat. So when I noticed that my knees were a bit drippy, I was like, something's wrong here. So I thought something's wrong here, and then my arms started to get all wet, and I was like, oh God, I'm very wet. What's happening? Oh, that's gross. I was like, oh, I don't feel well. And then I started to feel like I couldn't breathe properly, so I was going like, just like, I was just like, I don't care who's looking. So they're like kind of drippy, going, you never want to do that on a train. Of course, nobody bothered to help me. I text my dad saying, please help me. I want to get off at the train next, please. And my dad was like, no, you've got to go and do your event. People have come to see you. Okay, I started to feel dizzy. The walls started closing in. And a train is a very small thing anyway. It's a very small structure. It's steel, very small. I was like, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. So I just took a couple of extra tablets just to soothe things. So I was fine for like a couple of minutes. I was like, oh no, my insides. And what was happening is my like, what's all this? Liver and things, because I've got that biology degree, yeah. Liver and stuff were like, no, please, just put some carbs like we're used to, please. Alright. And then I got to the station, and Natalie, who works for my management company, who's my lovely friend, was there, and she was like, oh, you can't go to BeautyCon, you're a mess. And like, all my makeup had dripped off, I was sort of walking like this. This is how I greeted her. I was like, I can do it, I can do it. Then I started crying a bit and being like, I'm sorry. You know, when you're not well and someone soothes you, all you can do is sort of say how sorry you are. Like, oh, sorry, I'm in pain. I'm sorry, sorry. And she said, have you tried Paramore? She's listening somewhere. She's like, please stop telling everybody. Please, I'll get the sack, please. So I had a couple of Paramol, they're quite strong, and had something to eat, a little like pasta, that's a hand gesture for pasta, it was actually fine language, pasta. And I had a red berry smoothie, that's important, and I was like, I'm just going to get back on the train. It's mind over matter, I can definitely just get back on the train and go home and just lay in searing agony and try and find an emergency dentist. It will be fine. So, I'm sat on the train. Has anyone ever been on a London Midland?
Oh, they're horrible.
Great, good then. Actually, come on people, you've been on a London Midland train. Anyone been on a train?
Woo!
Right, you know how normally it goes like this, two with the seats, but in the toilet carriage, there's a toilet here and then seats here, hang on, toilet here, seats here, and then some seats here, and people can put their bicycles and whatnot. Yeah, you know it? Yeah. All visualising that? Right, so I thought, I'll sit there, because I'm feeling a bit stomach-achy. If I were to be sick, and I'm sure I won't, I'll just be near it. So I'm sat there sort of like dripping in sweat and heavy breathing as the man opposite doing this at me. I just thought, oh, sweaty knees does it for you. Come on then. And I started to feel very nauseous. And I was like, I'm not going to be sick. Calm blue ocean, calm blue. No, maybe I will, maybe I will. So here's me, this is me, sat on the train. Here is the toilet, this is the exact distance, I could touch it with my leg, but there's people in the front row and this is a short dress, so I won't. Here. So I thought, no point going and standing in the little sweaty hellhole, I'll just wait here. Hang on a minute, this is tricky, isn't it? I'll wait here, and then when I feel it coming, I'll just get up, press the button, pop myself in, let it out, leave and sit back down again. Good plan. So I did that feeling where, you know, it goes like, it comes in your throat, you feel it here, you're like oh, okay, it's on the rise, going up. So I was like, okay, so I got up and went to press the button, thinking it would just go whoop and I'll go straight in. It's not the case on a train, is it? Because those automatic doors just do this. Whilst they were doing that, my body was like, no, and I went, just the tiniest bit, like a teaspoon's worth, and that's when panic set in. So it's like, oh no, the teaspoon. So I forced the door open with my brute strength. I'm strong like an ox, because I'm big. I'm strong, she is invincible. No one knows that song. So she's like, I am woman, yeah. So, because females are strong as hell. Anyone know that one? Yeah. Oh good, someone did. So I ripped the door open, got in, and there was just a plethora of buttons. So many buttons. I was like, what's the shut? What's the shut? It wasn't like, which one shuts? I was like, so I just started doing this and more. And shut. One of them was to hold the door open. I was like, and at that point, I knew it was over. And I just went, then I didn't even get time to like get near a toilet, but the toilet was sort of there, so I was like, bearing in mind, the door is open. So a true story, so all the people, including myself, are watching a grown woman in a very nice dress just stand there and go, to make it worse, that smoothie was red, it looked like blood. It looked like I was just projecting going, blood. Eventually, I decided to kneel down just so I could, you know, have just a shred more dignity. And I knelt in something wet, not my sick, definitely a man's urine. Oh God. I carried on being sick. At that moment, a woman went to me, would you like me to shut the door, love? I wanted to say, yes please, but instead I just went, like that. And she just went, and it's like, and then slowly the passengers that would have sat like this went out of view so I could just live my hell in privacy. So I carried on being sick, sometimes out my nose, sometimes out my mouth, lots of choices, it was really fun. And then I wiped everything up, and then I text Natalie to say, I've been sick, I'm so alone. They were the exact, I've been sick, I'm so alone. When you're in a sweaty, hot, sicky train toilet and you're texting someone that, you're at your lowest moment. I've been at a lot of moments and that was one of the lowest. So then I thought, well, just go back out then, won't I? Otherwise they'll think I've got diarrhea as well. So pressed the button, I worked out where it was, opened, all the passengers were like, I didn't see anything. Sat down and I said to the woman, I was like, did you just see me be sick? And she went, no. No. And I went, are you sure? And she went, oh, I think a bit. I was like, oh God. And then she went, I love your videos, by the way. Oh, lovely, thank you. Just a vomit. That's the point in the day where I should have just sat down and just thought, well, been sick now, I'll just get on with the day, the searing agony in my mouth, and everything will be fine. That's when I decided to text Jack. So, oh, thank you, Hazel. Hazel's message was saying sexy bitch. So, I screenshotted it. Thank you. I screenshotted what's awkward, I've got to go through 6 million selfies before I can find the screenshots, because I did this a few weeks ago. Oh, this is just really awkward. Here we go. So, this is what I messaged. Saturday, 23rd of May, 15:28. Jack. I've had too many pills for my tooth and felt hot and sweaty on the train, and then I was very violently sick and people saw, and the train doesn't get in for another 20 minutes. Please God, say nice things to me, please. He didn't reply. So I said, I'm so sorry, I know you're doing radio stuff. I don't know if he knows about Jack, but he does a radio thing at the BBC or something, right? He barely talks about it. So he knows, so that message has said, essentially, I've overdosed and had a problem on a train. This is what I replied. Sorry, parents. He said, fucking why did you do that? A conversation's begun. Brilliant. That's all I ever want is attention. So I said, I'm just so alone, Jack. My dad is in America. He wasn't in America. I don't know why I said that. So now Jack knows I'm alone and ill. He didn't reply. So I said, I was in so much pain with my wisdom tooth and I couldn't stop the pain, so I just took more and more tablets and I couldn't feel anything else anymore. He didn't reply. So I said, but then they made my tummy hurt and I couldn't manage my breakfast. He didn't reply. There's a lot of blue here. So I said, so I got on the train to do BeautyCon, hoping I'd get better, but I got very panicky attacky and nearly fainted at Euston, so I thought best just to turn around and go home, Jack. He didn't reply. He's reading them, by the way, but not replying. So I said, so then now I'm on the train home and I felt sick and thought I wouldn't actually be sick, but then I was sick and I felt it coming and I ran to the toilet. He didn't reply. So I said, but I didn't make it, Jack. He didn't reply. So I said, I couldn't close the door of it because the sick was coming out my mouth and the button was confusing me. He didn't reply. So I said, at this point really, I could have stopped. Could have, didn't. So I said, so I just stood with the door open and projectile puked in the direction of the rancid toilet. He didn't reply. So I said, I didn't even get time to be on my knees, Jack. He didn't, don't do that. No, he didn't reply. So one's like, so I said, I just stood there and puked. He didn't reply. Oh God, it's everywhere, but actually everywhere. Still no reply. And the passengers could see everything, Jack. No reply. And a lady said gently, would you like me to shut the door? And I just cried and nodded. And then I left it 5 minutes thinking he'd respond. He didn't, so I just said, such a kind lady. He didn't reply, so I said, and now here I am, clutching my sicky cardigan and checking that somebody, anybody, loves me.
Aww.
The ... dots appear. This is it. This is my shining moment. He's going to say something perfect, so lovely, so caring. OMG, full stop. And that was it. And that is the end of the first half. I will see you in 20 minutes. Just what? Oh God. Cats. Do you like cats?
Yeah.
How much? A lot. Do you like their snouts?
I've got dogs, but I still love cats.
You've got dogs? Thank you. Come forward. Hello, what's your name?
Jodie.
Jodie, are you friends with the one that likes dogs?
My little sister.
God. Oh, you like dogs as well?
I actually don't.
Yeah, do you like cat?
Yeah, not like cat.
You don't like cats?
I love cats.
At all? You don't like them, or just...
I like my nan's cat.
Right.
Cat, and it's pretty straightforward, you know, your sands with it.
Right.
So.
You've got some sort of like relationship issues with the cat.
Something happened when I was younger that makes me detest cats.
Alright. We can get you some help for that.
Stay away.
Yeah, it's gonna be alright. So what's your question? Is it about cats? Joe, trigger warning. You're getting dangerous.
As a plus size lady,
Yes.
when it's kind of hot, we get a situation where things
Are you really going to answer this?
What's your advice for chub rock?
Sort of this. Bit of hair. Bit of this, bit of lunges. Give that a go, or some leggings.
It's deodorant.
I wouldn't spray you again. This guy. You're getting yourself into a terrible predicament. It's so scary. I don't want to stage. Great, that was lovely. It was lovely. Come forward. Don't worry about the crazy lady. She'll be on soon. What's your name?
Daisy,
Daisy, how old are you?
11.
Are your parents here with you?
My mum.
Do you think she loves you a lot, or would be okay with me taking you home to live with the cats? Just a voice. You can have her! Do I have to give her back at any point, or is this a fixed term contract?
3 months trial.
That's fair, I don't want to shut up for Christmas. What's the question, Daisy?
Why do you call Zoe Chummy?
Oh, that is a good question, little Daisy. I call Zoe Chummy because has anyone seen the film Thumbelina?
Woo!
A classic. So I started calling her Chumbelina on account of her being so teeny tiny, like a thing that you could just put in your pocket. I probably could actually get her in my pocket. I know that I could get her in one leg of my trousers and some of Darcy's clothes, and I know this because I've made her do it. So I started calling her Chumbelina, and then she started calling me Chummy. So actually, I'm Chummy, and she's Chumbelina, but in shops and stuff, Chumbelina, like who looks like an idiot when you do that? Not her. It's me, so that was a good question. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And when you come to live with me, I don't have any spare room, but you can live with the cats. Is that okay?
Yes.
Do you like cats?
A little bit.
Or a lot?
Yeah, I do.
Thanks, Daisy. That was great. Lovely. Come forward, most stylish woman in all the world. What's your name?
Emily.
Emily. And have you come from far?
Not really.
Where?
Still in London.
All right. No one's going to come and find you. It's okay. It's okay. So you've made sort of little effort, but that's right anyway. Somebody from London came to Manchester, and I was like, you know, I'm doing a show next week. They're like, oh, are you? I was like, yeah, never mind. That show was rubbish last week. What's your question?
How do you feel about Darcy pursuing YouTube as a career?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, currently she's 4, so she's not very career focused. She's sort of flimsy and wishy-washy in her choices. Some days she wants to watch Paddington Bear, some days she wants to have a bath, you know. She's not very focused. But if in 10 years she said, oh, Mum, I don't know why she talks like that. Oh, Mum, I want to have a YouTube channel. I'd be like, no, you're 14. Because, how many of you here are 14? Me? Yeah, I am. Good. Quite a few of you. I don't think that you should gonna put it out there, so if you do YouTube channels at this point, you're very young and impressionable, and people on the internet are mean sometimes. And now, at the grand old age of almost dead 30, I can like cope with the mean comments. But at 14, if someone had said like, "Oh, you're well fat," I would have been like, "Oh my god!" I'm not. Whereas now I'm like, "Oh no." But like, at 14, it's very upsetting. So I would encourage her not to do that. And I would also say, and this is a crazy thing to say as I stand on stage, YouTube is not a stable career. Yes, go back to the... it's very few that are lucky enough to do things like this and actually make a career out of it. So what I would say to Darcy and anybody else thinking about making a YouTube channel, are you thinking about making one? How old are you?
13.
Oh, a little tiny one. Then I would say, why don't you pursue something else as well and just do YouTube on the side, because you can do both. You can have your cake and eat it, as I know. I've eaten all the cakes. So I would say I would not like her to do this at this stage, but I will continue to put her in every thumbnail of my videos. Thank you very much. I'm joking, not all the thumbnails, just the ones she's in. Hello, love. What's your name?
Maisie.
And you're 14?
Yeah.
And excitable?
Yeah.
Are you here with friends, or a parent, or a boyfriend?
No, my friend booked it for my birthday.
What a nice friend! Where's your friend? Oh, what a lovely friend you are. Did you say thank you a lot?
Yeah.
When was your birthday?
23rd of May.
Oh! So you had a good day that day, didn't you? Were you sick on a train in front of lots of people?
No.
No, you've still got time, you're only 14, plenty of time for that. What's your question, please?
What did you want to be when you grew up? What do you want to... When...
Let's stand here.
When you were younger, what did you be when you want to... What did you...
I know what you want to say, but I'm going to let you do it, because I know you can do it. What did you want to be when you grew up? No, don't laugh at her. Ready? Let's... Hello, you've got a question for me? Yeah. What is it? What did you want to be when you grow up? What did you want to be when you grew up? That's the question, isn't it? Is it?
Darcy want to be as well?
Darcy wants to have a pink car that she can stick stickers of squirrels to. That's what Darcy's aiming for. Goals high, you could reach for the stars. When I was very little, I wanted to be a ballerina, but as you can see, I don't have the physique for it. I don't laugh, that funny. It's not joking. And I'm quite clumsy, and I don't like to exercise much, so that would have not been for me. Yeah. Then I wanted to be a pop star.
Woo!
My dad said I could be on X Factor, and then my then boyfriend Matt, who I then married and then stopped being married to, I was singing one day and I was like, my dad says I could be on X Factor, and Matt went, yeah, it was like a joke candidate, and I was like, oh my dreams, I couldn't my dad.
You could have done, you're very good at singing.
Thanks, Dad. And then when I decided that like ballerina or pop star probably like weren't stable careers like YouTube is, I thought I'd be a psychotherapist because I like to hear people's problems and talk to them.
I like that. It's good. Yeah.
It's good, isn't it? Yeah. So I did a postgraduate course in psychotherapy, and it was just a bit much. And I was like, I'm done with education. I've been doing this for 22 years, so I decided to have a break and go into like various office jobs that I was just terrible at, and then I found YouTube. So I will, if I need to, go back to psychotherapy or ballet. Good question. You did good. You did good. Nobody heard it when you did it wrong a lot of times. You are right. Let's have a little hug. You are right.
Aww.
That's all right. Hello. What's your name?
Phoebe?
Phoebe. Are these your real eyelashes?
Yes, they are.
They're incredible. Do people tell you that a lot?
Yeah, the lady on the way in.
Yeah. I bet they're like a lot. Okay, I'm shutting down. What's your question, Phoebe Eyelash?
Would you rather live without eyebrows or... Oh, I'm sneezing. Sorry.
It's alright. Are you sure? Because I don't want to be in the spray zone. Splash zone.
Would you rather live without eyebrows or eyelashes?
Well, now I've seen your eyelash, all I can look at is your, I can't think, I've forgotten that I'm on stage, just like this, your eyelashes. I'm going to say without eyelashes because I can just stick eyelashes on. Is that okay in the game?
Sure.
You've not thought this through, have you?
Pardon?
You've not thought this through, well, have
No.
you? Don't get stick on eyebrows, do you? You can draw them on.
Tattoo?
My grandma once said to me, if ever I go into a home, come in every day and draw on my eyebrows. Alright then, I will. Fun fact, I'm going to go for eyelashes. No, I'm going to live without my eyelashes because I'll just put false ones on. But that was a really, really fantastic question. One of the best. Just move on over. Thanks. There you go. Hello, what's your name?
Amelia.
Let's step forward a bit. Why are we all standing so far back? Look at this, all this stage we've got. All of you, come on now. Don't be, oh, she's done the Then you come forward, stand in front of this line. Come on now, don't be shy. All of you. Oh my God, it's like herding sheep. She loves sheep. She's like, sheep. What's the best thing that you've done because of YouTube? This? No, I'm joking. Oh, only semi-joking. The best thing I've done because of YouTube. Okay. Got two answers. One, I've really enjoyed all of this season of life because right now I'm doing the shows and I've got a book out, there will be a book tour, and I've got 2 more things coming out before the end of the year which I'm really excited for. So that's really nice to work on something and then see a thing come to fruition and then be able to put it out there. And if you've been on YouTube for 5 years, which I have, to see people in the flesh, this is live YouTube and it's really cool because I would never have got to do this without YouTube. So this, but also oh God, I'm really serious and emotional. I've made loads of friends and stuff, haven't I? So they're alright too. There's them over there, the friends. They're fine too, I like them a lot. Thanks for the question. Don't want to get too serious. Great. I like you, okay? Even you, Ben, even you. Hello, what's your name?
Emma.
Oh, that was a good one. Emma, because some people are like, what's your question, Emma?
I wanted to ask you, what's your favourite thing about having the Sprinkleorinos?
Oh, that's a good one. Why are you waving at me?
Friend.
Oh, you're the friend. Hello, my friend.